Hi friends, welcome back to At Home with Haley. It has been quite some time since I uploaded a video, so if you're seeing this, thank you for being here. I'm jumping right into the video. Today I'm doing a fireplace refresh, so probably in the title or the screenshot for the video, I mentioned that it's a $30 fireplace redo, which is true. So all I did was paint. On the inside of the fireplace here, I bought a high heat spray paint. It's good for up to 1200 degrees. And all I did was just clean off. I forgot to start filming while I was cleaning it off, but I used an old broom and wiped out the inside, and then vacuumed it all out to get everything nice and clean, and then I just sprayed it. So as I'm doing this, you'll see me turn away. That is because the fumes were pretty bad. So I did open the what do you call it, the fireplace flue, to let some of that go out of the top, but it was pretty bad as far as fumes. So I would suggest, I just didn't think about it, I would suggest getting a mask, but I just kind of kept turning away and breathing to get some fresh air. And then I did walk outside, and then I opened the doors and fanned the room to let some fresh air in. And really it went away pretty fast. I was worried it was going to be smelling like that all week long, but it didn't. It after a few hours was gone. So here I bought a pre-mixed black interior paint from Walmart. It was I want to say it was $23, and that spray paint was about $7. So that's where I got the $30 fireplace refresh. Everything I saw said to prime first. I didn't. So I knew that, the brick is very porous, it's very textured, and I felt like it's just going to hold the paint pretty well. And it really did. So you'll see me here on this night. This was a Sunday evening. I probably didn't get started until around 6 o'clock. And I went until about 11, but my phone died. I don't know what time it died, but anyway, you won't see me do some of the sections that I did on this night. But I stopped around 11 p.m. because I did have to work on Monday, and cleaned up, and then started again. I didn't do anything that Monday night, but that Tuesday night I finished up, and I did get that on film. So you'll see me painting a good bit of it. I sped this up about 5 times as fast as I really went. I turned and looked at the camera and smiled because I just thought it looked amazing. It's exactly what I want it to look like. So I was really happy with how it was looking so far. It is a lot of getting into small spaces. So while it is going pretty fast, just because I sped it up by 5, it did take a while to just make sure that paint was in all the little crevices and everything. And then you'll see me in a minute. I actually had to get I couldn't find a regular paintbrush, a kid's sort of paintbrush. So I went and got one of my makeup brushes that I don't use, and I actually had to get into some of the smaller areas because I just could not get that paintbrush in there, and it was so textured. So anyway, my original thought was to actually paint the brick and the wood all black, just have a very dramatic black area. And I'm glad I didn't go ahead and do that, because I now am just, and I see pictures of it. I looked on Pinterest a lot before I decided to actually go forward with this. and looked up pictures of, painted black fireplaces. And they do have some where, it's pretty much all black, but you really do have to bring back in some warmth somehow. So, you want to bring back in some wood or, some greenery. Like at the end, you'll see, I've got some plants and things on there to like pull that back in. But I really think it works. I just showed that, that makeup brush real quick. I really think it works to leave the wood. There was another reason too. When we first moved in this house, if you look to the right, that's my kitchen. And you can tell that it's panels. So it is real wood panels, but they had already been painted. They were white when we moved in. I painted it this color. It's the Repose Gray from Sherwin-Williams. But that was already all painted. And even in the living room, we have some of that paneling that was already painted white. So this was the only section that was still I think it's knotty pine. And my husband mentioned at one time, he's like, can we please just leave that knotty pine? Like, can I have that? Like, of all the stuff in the house that I'm going to let you do whatever you want to, like, can you just leave that alone? And I said yes. Since then, he has said, do whatever you want. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But that just stuck with me. And so I know he would let me do something if I wanted to. But as I just thought about it and looked at ideas and really was like, that might play really well against each other with the black and the wood. I just was like, I really think that it's gonna look really nice. So some people would go ahead and paint that too. Maybe they would paint it white. I don't know. But I have found myself having more of an appreciation for, I don't know, that older look. So like where some people would really want to change the style a whole lot and make it look either more modern or more farmhouse or mid-century or something like that. I feel like my style right now is just really eclectic. And if there's pieces that, have some kind of character to the house, sometimes I will want to get rid of them. But in this case, I really think, I really thought it's going to play really nicely with the black. And you'll see at the end, maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't, but I do just feel like it leaves that warmth that we need to keep the black from being so stark and dramatic and still make it feel homey, even though the black adds, a lot of that darkness to the area. So anyway, I am just getting down this right side. It is like the skinnier side, and you can see my TV to the left. That side is much wider. So I thought, let's tackle this part, see how long that's going to take, and that'll kind of give me an idea of how long, the whole thing's going to take. So it was going pretty well. I tend to, when I'm working, I tend to just forget about time. And I just go. And I don't take breaks. I don't eat. I don't get something to drink. Unless I'm outside and sweating and super hot, do I even think about stopping and drinking something or eating something. So I've been trying, recently to keep myself kind of in check and watch the clock and be really mindful about how much time I'm spending on something, just for a variety of reasons. But I get so hyper-focused and I want things done, right then. I just want to finish it. So I get pretty hyper-focused on just getting it done. But I have to tell myself, it's nothing bad's going to happen if this isn't finished today, right? There's no rule that says I have to do this and get it done today. No one's making me do it. Life will go on. you know, you don't have to finish today. So I have been a lot better about not being so stuck on getting things done by a certain time. I wanted to get a quick zoom in. This is what I was talking about, where it's like those lines just butt up to that wood, and I just couldn't get behind there unless I had something smaller. So you can see me, you know, trying to do it on this edge too, but just had to have something smaller. But it worked out pretty well. I mean, if you come into my house and look at these, you know, edges right there really closely, you'll probably be like, yeah, you could have, you know, you could have done better. But it was as good as I could do with what I had. Someone else, you know, may have decided, oh, I've got to work a little harder on that. But, I mean, it looks really nice. Okay, this is 2 days later. When I tell you I loved this so much, like, it just looks so fresh to me. It just looks amazing. So on this night, I do end up finishing this side. And I did think about doing a second coat. But I did go over, like, the crown molding twice and the molding at the very bottom because they were wood. And they just don't hold that paint as well. But everything else, I just went back through and I looked at, you know, I just looked at the whole thing and, like, where there was something that needed to be filled in or touched up, I did that. I did not go over the whole thing twice, though. If you ask if my husband had been doing it, he would have gone over it twice. I just looked at it and it looked fine to me. It looked good to me. And so I didn't see the point. I still have over half a gallon left. So out of the gallon, I used not even half of it on that one coat. So I can always just touch up as needed or go back over it later if I need to. So I still have it. It's not a problem, you know, if we need to do it. So I did just do one coat. This is not a tutorial. It's just showing you what I do in my house to do the things that I like. Again, this is sped up by about, 5 times faster than it actually is. So it's going through, but I did want to show, getting through all of it because I think it's kind of satisfying to see it as it progresses along and is getting finished up. So this part was just faster because there was less edges, so over there to the right you've got the edge of the shelf and then the edge that butts up to the wall and not much, just open brick. So this left side just felt like it went a little bit faster, and maybe I was also kind of used to what I needed to do to get it done. Like I would go up and down and then I'd go side to side and then I'd go up and down again and side to side again, and then by that time it pretty much would fill in everything that was there. And then I would go back and do the edges with the smaller brush, but there was just less edges over here to have to deal with. So later on, and I don't show it on camera, but I do just kind of rearrange. I don't rearrange a whole lot on the shelf. I mainly take things away that actually don't even belong here, that I didn't intend to keep here. So I take some things off and move some things around, and I replace, there's like a plant on the shelf right now. It wasn't doing too well in this location, so I moved it to somewhere that gets a little bit better light. I like to move my plants around if there's any that are in a location that don't get a lot of light. When I'm like redoing an area, I will move, shift them around. And so this one will get more light for a while and the other one won't, and then I'll, move them again. So, they don't have to sit in the same location all the time. But anyway, I take down that plant, put a new one up that looks a little better, has a lot more like trailing leaves and everything. So it really does, I think, bring the look together as well. And then also I have a little Fireplace cover with the doors on it, and you'll see that in a while. There are other projects I've done since the last time I filmed a video, which again was quite some time ago. So I do think I may do maybe a home tour maybe soon, just showing anything that's different. I believe last time I had a video, my dining table was in what I call like our front room, and I've moved it to a different location. I do have a lot of houseplants now, so I have a shelf in that front area where I keep all those, a lot of them. They're spread around as well, but a lot of them are on that shelf. So just sharing, you know, what the house looks like now since the last time that I did a video where I'm showing more. But in this one, we're really just focusing on the fireplace. I do just want to say, you know, I thought about doing this black for quite some time. Like I said, I did think maybe I would do the shelf too before. I'm glad I did not choose to do that. See the warmth that it just adds to the area. But I will say, just like, if you know you want to do something, sometimes we just wait because we think that it's going to be super difficult. And sometimes you do run into a lot of, you know, things that you have to work through, and it ends up being a bigger job than you think. But if it's just like painting a room or painting a wall or, you know, painting a door or something like that, just do it. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I waited so long is what I'm trying to say. Because it is a pretty big impact in the room. I feel like the brick, you know, I don't dislike brick, but I just feel like these bricks, they're very narrow style of brick. And I felt like that was just kind of not preferable for me as far as like how they look. And then, you know, there's not a lot of variation in the color of them, and they just look kind of dingy, and it was hard. It's hard to clean brick, especially inside where you can't run a pressure washer or anything. So they just ended up having some kind of discolorations and things on them. So this also just gives it a fresh, clean look too, because you're not seeing any kind of stains or discoloration on them. So I'm really happy with the result. I didn't film at the end when it was all finished up, but I took several pictures, so those will be part of the end of this video. I will link the paints, but again, they're just the one I used on the inside is Rustoleum spray paint for high heat, and I got it at Walmart. And the other one is just that interior. It's Glidden brand interior. I got the Eggshell to give it just a little bit of sheen, but it was black pre-mixed. I didn't like choose a certain black, so I know some people will be very particular about, okay, is it a black with a little blue in it, or is it a black with a little, you know, kind of towards the gray. I don't know. So I just wanted a plain black. I didn't want to have to pick a color. I just wanted to go with straight black. So that's what I did. It is very bold, very dramatic. I love it though. So leave in the comments if there's any projects you've been doing in your home. I like to hear about things like that. It's just exciting. I've been doing a little stuff here and there, so I might share some of those with you guys as I make some more videos. I do plan to make more. I have one video I've filmed all the parts and pieces, but I got to put it together. But my next one I think will be some, you know, simple weeknight meals, just to give people ideas on, I know it's just when you're a mom and maybe a dad, maybe some of the dads out there are planning the meals too. But when you're a mom and it's your job to feed everyone every night for the rest of your life, I don't know, something happens when you're getting ready to go to the grocery store and you just forget every meal you've ever cooked and what the ingredients were, and it's overwhelming sometimes. So it's not meant to be like, here's a brand new recipe. It's literally just ideas for what you can make in the coming week or weeks, just to give everyone ideas. And also, I'm the type of person that doesn't like to overcomplicate my meals, so I like to keep things simple. I don't like recipes that have a whole bunch of different ingredients. I like to keep it pretty easy, so it's overwhelming for me if it's not kept kind of easy. So they're literally going to be things like, cheeseburgers and mac and cheese and corn on the cob, which is not anything groundbreaking, but just sometimes I like to see what other people are doing, what their night looks like or whatever. It just kind of helps you realize, oh, that's normal, or sometimes, oh, that's different than what I do, and that's interesting. And I've learned a lot by doing that, especially with things like organization. I didn't really think a lot about, I would put things in places that made sense, but when I started watching YouTube videos, a lot of the organization ones helped me to really think about, what makes sense and where to put it and how I could make it easier for myself, especially putting it back away. Getting it organized first time, it's pretty easy, but getting it put back away sometimes is sometimes the harder part. So I'm getting close to the end here. There's my daughter running back and forth through there. But yeah, until that last brick gets painted, though, it's just like doesn't have the impact until it's fully painted. But I don't know, I love it so much. I shared it on my Facebook, and a lot of people said they like it. Hopefully they do. Even if they don't, it's okay. I like it. So I think it looks great. So I am wrapping up here in just a second. I hope you'll try something like this, even if it's not the same exact kind of project, but something that, an area of your house that's bothering you, and you just want to change it up. So wrapping it up, and here I'll show the pictures. Can you even believe it? I just love it so much. I think it makes a huge impact. And I just put a screensaver on to make the TV look like art. And it's lovely. Okay, come back soon. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.